it says I'm live, and okay. There we go. This is Lake Abilene. Uh, nice picturesque. It's in a dry area of Texas, but it is. Well, I just go ahead and zoom back out. It's a lake, fairly sized lake. I'd say probably the size of Gull Lake, probably. Maybe a little smaller. There's Fort Worth. Abilene. So what happened, interestingly enough, let me just bring up this here. I think I just posted, no, I didn't. So let's go. This lake, we have the global warming, water lines are receding and everybody's freaking out. Well, interestingly, Lake Abilene is actually drying up. Let's go ahead and grab. Oh, there we go. Lake Abilene remains less than 4% full. You can see it there in the background. Also, when you go to Google Earth, oh, I had it. When you go to Google Earth, it, yeah, no, I don't have it. But when you go to Google Earth, it shows brown now. The lake is literally only 4% full. So what happened? Does anybody have any guesses? It says here it has held only 91 acres of surface water, a mere 3.6% of its capacity.
I'd say groundwater.
Groundwater, 5.8 6 months ago and 7% 1 year ago.
So who's pumping what out of from where?
Yeah, what is that? So guess what it is? Stargate's first AI facility.
What?
They dried this lake up with that data center, and now it's a big problem all of a sudden.
So how did they dry it up with the data center? How did
Because chips need chips need to stay cool.
Oh.
Remember, remember the thermodynamic chips that are coming out?
Yes.
Yes, quantum computing without having to make it Kelvin zero.
Huh.
That's why quantum computing is a big joke. You have to have your environment where your computer is has to be at Kelvin zero.
Yes.
And if your electronics are not getting cool, then what happens is that the molecules in the metal they jostle around too much. And your lasers that go and look at the etches on the disk, they can't pinpoint what the data is. So they got to keep it nice, and then you can have it burn out, and all kinds of terrible things can happen. I've seen computers actually blow up because the fans went out. They literally explode inside the little box. You don't see it. There's usually no harm or damage comes to anybody, but it'll char the inside of your computer case.
So what's the name of that Stargate thing?
Project Stargate.
And where's it located? Because I don't see anything on the map.
Let me hunt that down.
Let's go Stargate what?
It's the Stargate site. Well, Stargate is the name of the project. I don't know what the name of the building is that they use, but it is close by to Abilene Lake.
Is it Stargate Studios?
No, Project Stargate. It was one of the first announcements Trump made right after his inauguration that nobody paid attention to. Well, except for us.
Yeah, there's nothing by that name on the map. there's a Stargate Studios, which I suspect is like a Hollywood thing, and a couple other Stargate Road.
Hang on. Stargate LLC. I'll put it up in the chat. This is just the Wikipedia page, but this is something that was definitely the first thing that Trump said when he came out, and this is the evolution of the Space Force that he initialized in season 1 of the Great Recession. Okay. So it's these data centers is I don't know the name of the data center. What I got this from. I always follow 3-4 people, very very closely, and on X it's just Dario because outside of the articles that he writes on his website, he puts a lot of short form content that gets you up to speed. And I didn't feel the necessity to go and double check simply because Project Stargate is the culmination of this Space Force. Because that whole thing, the Space Force, I'm just going to say that right now. It was always just data centers because everything is just the illusion, right? We've got this projection of what we are told reality is based off someone else's definition. We don't experience reality. So in order to maintain that, they got to keep us in the dark. And so then they come up with things like, oh, we need a space force because then it gets people thinking that, that whole thing with the moon had a lot of legitimacy and therefore we need to boost up our space defense. And it makes sense because look at what Russia can do. Look at what Iran can do. Look at what all our enemy China can do. So it's going to culminate into this projection that comes through these little devices here. This is it's a form of virtual reality. You might as well just strap the phone to your head because people are literally looking at the world through the lens of someone else's phone. And that can't even be trusted anymore because of how good the generation of AI is. And look, AI is contributing to this collapse like ecosystems. And this reminds me specifically of Oblivion. Did anybody see Oblivion with Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar, but I don't remember.
In the story, of course, there's a whole reality that everybody thinks that it's legit, and of course it's fake. But in the end, the story is that the machines suck up the oceans.
Oh, yes, I remember that now. Yes.
Yeah, fascinating. So, anyways, isn't it fascinating also that it was Nestle that was the first to tokenize water?
Mm-hmm.
Wonder why? Because it's going to be a scarce resource. At least it's going to be painted in the media as a scarce resource. Why? Because we gotta fund the war. We gotta make sure AI is fed enough, and it's that old idea that these chips need to be used at all. And what do we know about war? What do we know about the weaponry that is used in war, in world wars especially?
Well, they bring out the old stuff so that they can clear their caches.
Correct. This will be an offloading of old tech that they know is obsolete, but they're just trying to get as much money out of the people as they possibly can. I mean, Project Stargate budgeted $500 billion of taxpayer money. $500 billion of taxpayer-funded money. And, by the way, we commit to paying that in the next 5 years. That's $100 billion per year.
Just for one thing.
Just so we can dry up the water for you.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Stargate LLC, when I punch that in, takes me to a field out northwest of Abilene, Texas,
Ha! There you go.
which is
Stargate
31 kilometers from that lake.
LLC.
So how'd they get the water over there? But anyhow, but that spot on the field is just next door to a power, like where you see
Okay.
all these transmitters and
Yeah,
transformers and everything. It's right next to one of those.
that makes sense. So they'd be drawing from that transmitter probably.
They would be drawing from that,
Yep.
or maybe that's what it is. The power.
Yeah, just the power draw on the AI from the AI is what's drawing this lake down, not necessarily directly from the plant. That makes sense.
Interesting.
Good hunting there, Ian. That's great.
I love hunting.
Yeah, good job. Okay. Weekend market stuff happened, kind of. Start with Bitcoin dominance, which is literally just consolidating. Since when? We've been consolidating since. Well, let's go to the 4 hour chart. Get a little bit more detail here. Yeah, basically since here, November 17th, consolidating in this range here. So we've got a box to wait for, but the dominance is trending within this range. The dominance is trending downwards. This low here, got created this high, but then the next low went deeper. Now it's arguable that that's a banker's candle simply because of how fast it went down and came back to meet this here. So for how fast that went down, it's possible that this is just a banker's candle. How would we know for sure? We'd do to zoom in on the 15-minute chart. But to me, this is strength. This is strength into alts because it's lower. This high here couldn't make it to the previous high. And so we've been driving down ever since. So this tells me that this trend of lowering the Bitcoin dominance is continuing. Bitcoin market capitalization going up, of course, in conjunction with its price. It'll probably find some resistance here. Oops. This is a pretty fast drop here, even on the daily chart. This here was 24% over 10 days. Now, Bitcoin can do this, and when it does this, whenever there is a large movement, we see some time for it to equalize. Here's another large movement.
Are you on the day or day chart?
Yeah, this is daily chart, yeah. So this drop here happened over 10 days. Well, so did this one here. 7 days, 8 days. And then it came right back up again shortly after. So we're going to see a retracement. The retracement looks to me like our next resistance on Bitcoin is going to be in this area here. Back on that 5th support level that I had when I plotted this middle line back in here.
What's the likelihood that Bitcoin will drop to 72K?
72, right now it is still under 40%.
40% of what?
It's a less than a 40% chance that it will go down to 72,000.
Okay. And what gives you that 40% figure?
Level C. Level C is we are 60% likely to stay above that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So where does that 40-60 figure come from? Like, is that a statistical thing when it comes to the ABCD thing?
Yes.
Was that right?
In trend trading, in a technical analysis trend,
Okay.
as long as you have a completed ABCD, you are 60% likely to do it again.
So C,
on the daily chart, we're definitely due. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just trying to find where C is 74.
Yep.
Okay. I suppose if it dropped to that itself would be pretty.
Yeah, it's possible to test that. I mean, if you think about it, when we had Ada here over the last period of time, it was 60% likelihood that we would stay above that
Yeah.
until we retested, until we retested and we started to lose that. Then there's a 60%. Now that 60%, it's still a 60% likelihood of a bullish trend because we haven't broken C.
If you go back to Bitcoin
Yep.
and look at March 24, like you'll have to really zoom out.
Oh, March 2024?
Yeah.
Yep. Right in there, yep.
So there's a line straight across the top there at the top of that. And if you go right, yeah, there you have a seed.
Yo, yeah, it's almost exactly like there's that high. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. That would be the same pivot point. In fact,
So
that is a significant one. Let's mark it.
so in June it bumped that again, that same line,
Yep.
June 24. Yep. Anyhow,
Yep. That's a very crucial spot. If we can't keep that, then what we've done is that we've broken C, and now we have a 40% likelihood of coming down into this area here, 58. If we can't, yeah, sorry, I should say, if we can't keep C, we have a 60% likelihood of coming down to like 50, 60,000.
what do you think of the impact of J.P. Morgan versus what's his name, Saylor? What's the name of
You'll
that
have to,
organization?
you'll have to bring
Strategy.
me a prize of it. Oh, MicroStrategy?
Yeah. Yeah,
Ah,
it's called Strategy now, but yeah, it used to be called
oh, okay.
MicroStrategy. It's called just Strategy now. So
Okay, yeah.
with Michael Saylor, what J.P. Morgan is saying is that they're shorting Strategy. So anyhow,
Wow.
the crypto alarm put out an article today on that Wall Street versus the strategy squeeze, and they're talking
That's
about
interesting. Strategy was one of the biggest ETF issuers.
yep.
Wow.
Well, they're saying that its holding in Bitcoin now exceeds the value of the stock in of strategy alone. I don't know how that happens, but
Ready to don't know how that happened, but look at how they got ready. Literally doing the same thing I've been teaching people to do for the last 10 years.
yeah,
Well, now we know it's time.
yeah.
Oh my God, that's vindicating. I'm not so crazy after all, am I? Wow. That's great. Thanks for that, Ian. Oh, wow. Silver prices consolidating ever since hitting up that high, all-time high again. Come on. There we go. It is likely that silver will retest this line. So if you've been thinking about getting some, Audrey, wink, wink, nod, nod, you might wait until it hits this, or get some now, dollar cost average, and get a second batch of it when it's down lower. Gold consolidating still ever since that all-time high, coming down, finding this low on October 28th. We are within the Fibonacci range for an impulse. Likelihood of an impulse is very high. If it comes back down, the retest of this previous low is likely. If it can't maintain where we are now, it'll probably come down and retest this. The other option is that we are in descent. This is a pennant. This pennant may continue to provide consolidation forces onto the price action, bringing us down to that fine point. If it breaks out that far, if it takes that long, I would expect a retracement to retest this line.
How long is that to where the two lines cross?
That is December 22nd.
Yep.
Japanese markets. Oh, it's bad, folks. The Japanese government has bought all of their bonds back. There are no more people wanting Japanese bonds right now. And the government is left holding the bag on the debt it incurred to purchase those bonds. It's not looking good. But hence, NVIDIA and OpenAI and Oracle and Palantir will be here to save the day. Because look at how Trump handled the TikTok deal. Does anybody know the TikTok deal?
Nope.
Netanyahu actually negotiated the TikTok deal, and now it's an Israeli asset, and Trump is taking the credit for having saved all of the Americans who've built a business on TikTok over the last few years.
I thought TikTok was a Chinese product.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was about 2 months ago, Netanyahu said publicly that it was important. It was, in fact, of the utmost national security that China no longer has TikTok, and we will work out a deal where the states will buy it. And then Trump did that last week.
We will work out a deal that the states
We will work out a deal. Yeah. Says the guy whose on his desk, he has got 2 artifacts on his desk. They're like little plaques, like you get little plaques when you go to school and, best essay writer of grade 3.
Yep.
And, those little things. Well, he's got 2 things on his desk. One of them is a Motorola pager on a little stand.
Oh.
Another one is a vaccine on a stand. And then he has old ones. Those ones are newer. But the old ones are the nuclear bomb.
The what?
The atomic bomb.
Oh, yeah.
And then before that was tuberculosis. What's it associated with? I can't remember.
Polio?
No, there was something else that they did during that time. It wasn't even vaccines. It was something else. I can't remember. Anyways, so this guy has basically all of the weapons of war that have been leading us towards this 5th gen warfare that people say was the vaccines, but no, folks. It was your food supply. Food supply was where they poisoned you first to weaken your system so that you would be susceptible to mRNA technology. But that's whole other conversation. We talked about silver, gold. We did the Nike and the US30. Yeah, let's go to Ethereum. Ethereum retraced deep. This actually is a pretty significant support right here because you can see previous highs. Let's adjust this. Let's make this one here. It's this, right here. This is the 2816 line. Resistance in the past provided support going forward. Actually, it only, here's the support it provided. Resistance, support again here. Well, it broke down below that and it actually tested down here. Ethereum, if it can't bring its price back up to here, it's got to at least come back up to here for me to feel good about Ethereum.
So what's significant about that spot?
Well, that's the previous high. If it can't come up to that previous high, like this low here is now going to provide some resistance to the price. So when it comes up to here, it's got to make a pretty good effort to get past this line before it even gets to where I would feel confident that we're going back up. Is this here? This both of these are going to provide resistance to the price for how fast this went down. Now, this resistance means it's very likely to continue going down. C is way down here. So this low here, that was not good for Ethereum. Neither was this low for ADA. However, we can see that that low did coincide with a deep, it's just a deep test of this previous resistance way over here. So that might be all it is. At the same time, we got to be mindful that everything's on the rise right now. That being said, tells me that we'll probably come back. We might even retest this old line, this up here. If these numbers stay green this week, I would expect us to come back up to this price up here. So if you wanted to do something in the short term, Audrey, I'm thinking of you. If you wanted to, thanks for coming back. If you wanted to go into your NDAX and just try it out with maybe 20% of what it is that you've got in there, take some ADA or maybe some injective token, and go ahead and switch some out when it's up here, because you're currently holding it. So when you get up to here, get ready, because you might actually sell a little bit of it for Canadian or US and and wait until it goes on sale again. That way you can get an extra 10-15% possibly. Again, we won't know until we get back up to this line. And when we get back up to this line, our big check will be whether or not Bitcoin dominance is still dropping. If Bitcoin dominance rises while ADA price rises, then we know that the market's still not ready for alt season. That's when we know we can sell. But if Bitcoin dominance is still dropping when ADA reaches this old resistance, because I think it will, then I'm not going to recommend a sell. That tells me if Bitcoin dominance is still dropping, altcoins are still on the rise, when it comes back up to here, that will be a strong indication for the Wyckoff theory that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. Any
Is it
questions?
possible for you to just succinctly go over that Wycroft?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
What's a rule of thumb there? That's all I'm asking.
Rule of thumb is watch for consolidation. That's the first thing. So when we were watching for consolidation, we get the market structure. Here's the market structure for this consolidation. Now, of course, we are looking at it in a long time frame here. This is back from December, so we're almost at a year on this time frame, on this chart. But this high and this low became the market structure for a possible for a continuation of that bullish trend. So when it goes and bounces like that, whether it's along a trend line like this, or maybe it's the full extension of the rectangle, that back and forth, not creating a new high above D and not really going down below the potential C here, that tells us price is consolidating. When it consolidates, the theory is that this period of time is in distribution, where buyers and sellers are just basically evening things out for a while, and evening out to an average, right? Because that's the highs and lows, they could narrow. So as it narrows, you've got an average, but that's just distribution, they call it. When it goes outside of distribution, they call it accumulation, where somebody is loading up or selling off, depending on which direction the market's going. Here, we expect a bullish movement simply because of the timing of the world and Great Reset and all that stuff. But that this extension down is that accumulation phase where the volumes are going to go through the roof. And if that's going to happen, it's going to happen while this price is going up. you can have volume go down while price action goes up. That's totally possible. It's all about what are people willing to pay, period.
Sure.
So that will be, if that comes up and alt dominance is still on the rise, that will be an additional confirmation to me that this Wyckoff theory is in full effect. This is not an indication of a reversal of a trend simply because we're still consolidating from the original C technically on the weekly chart.
Sure.
So market structure, this is beautiful. You couldn't actually have a more beautiful chart telling us that this is a bullish reversal, like a rather a bullish extension coming up. There's not a better chart out there. Like, this is just textbook amazing. Big time. And remember, folks, this is ADA right now sitting at 42 cents US. I love it. I'm going to date this. November 24th, 2025. I think that by the end of next year, I've been bad at putting dates, and I feel like it's going to be sooner, but I have to think, not feel on this case. I feel that by the end of next year, this will be $5 US. That's a conservative feeling. Conservative numbers. I'm going by the numbers because what I'm expecting is the extension of D to bring us up to these old time highs
$5 by when?
by the end of next year.
Okay.
So that would be a 10x, like more than a 10x. $4.27 would be today. From today, $4.27 would be 10x. But the reason why I expect that much is because I'm going to bring this into perspective here with a Fibonacci. This is the only time you'll ever see me use Fibonacci to get a projection of future price only in the extensions of trends. I don't do it in a technical analysis within an analysis like a ABCD. I'm looking at it from a perspective of if it goes beyond, where is it going to go? So here is where that 0% to 100% is. That is an A to B. A down here that we've marked, that's technically the C on the weekly chart. So we extend that across, and here you can see that high is met, but that one, the retracement comes down deep down into 22 cents here. But that the extension to this movement, if this is A, B on that weekly chart, if this point is A, this point is B, and this point is C, then D at that it's a 161%, that's the next Fibonacci level, is that purple line at the top, and it's labeled $5 right there. I don't know if you can see it. If I go bigger, maybe? Yeah.
I can't see it.
Whoa, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
That's what that measurement shows anyways. It's 5496. So again, that's the 60% likelihood based off of the chart that we're on right now. That's why I say, like, you can't get a more beautiful chart than this. Even if this isn't C, market structure on the weekly chart is all the way back from March 20. This is the Great Reset, phase 3, I call it. This chart just shows us $5 is logical extension from this next alt season rush that we're going to see. I think is going to take us about a year, and that puts us at the end of 2026. $5. How do I say that? $5 is $5.
Why the end of 2026? Why not middle of next year?
Oh, trust me, I feel like it will be.
Yeah.
In fact, I feel like it could happen in 3 to 6 months. But I also have to remember that my feelings are never going to be as accurate as
Yeah.
60% accurate as a technical analysis.
Sure.
So, and being in this space and people having to put money up to take these positions, I have to be careful in how I make my projections. High octane speculation, like way out on the limb, I'm thinking 3 to 6 months when the crisis hits. When the crisis hits, we'll see another little retraction. Everybody goes and gets cash and buys a bunch of toilet paper and whatever else because the world's going to end. It'll be an emergency. It'll be serious. Again, people are crazy.
Yeah.
As though
But then
buying
that will be a marker, and my feeling is that it would be 3 months from that marker, simply because that's what it was with COVID.
Sure.
Sorry, Audrey Lynn, you said something. I spoke over you.
I forgot. It's all good. Didn't mean anything.
I was just talking about how the price might dip a bit. People panic about COVID.
Oh, the toilet paper thing, the end of the world.
Yeah.
Buying an enormous amount of toilet paper is going to get you to the end of the world. Like,
Yeah.
like really?
Yeah.
You know that Horizons thing that you posted, Audrey Lynn?
That projection from the government.
Oh, yes.
I've been focusing on that because I see that as I think Paul, you indicated, this is them telling us,
Yep.
and so I pass it on to a couple of guys I'm working with, and I said, "Hey, have a look at this," and yeah. Anyhow, I think it's going to be what I see it as is, the Bible talks about looking at the signs of the times, and that's one of them. You know,
Yep.
I mean, when they're telling you that in 3 years they expect, and this is from the time the report was made, which was last year.
Yeah.
In 3 years, they expect people will not know the difference between what's true and false.
Yep.
I think that's already there.
It's
Well,
yeah.
no,
We're just
it's definitely
yeah.
already in the works because of, like my wife and I, we talk about, oh, look at this on, somebody said this, but we don't know whether it's true or not.
Right.
It
Well,
could,
I was
could be
mentioning
all AI generated.
I was mentioning to Paul over the weekend how we have come across these little short videos on things like Mary Poppins and
Yep.
there was another one, but I came across one about Bugs Bunny, and it must have been an AI generated thing. Anyway, it was this little video. It was done in black and white line drawing, and I could feel myself having an emotion evoked. And when I got to the end of the video, I said to myself, how do I verify this?
Yep.
And so I looked at the original posting, and there was no way for me to verify it. So I just sort of told myself, this is interesting entertainment.
Yep.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. Yep. Somebody has too much time on their hands and creating some form of entertainment or deception or whatever. They might be just trying to see what they can do with AI and, oh, look what I did, and pop it on, so.
But the thing is that my initial reaction to all this stuff is that it was true.
Yes.
Instead of the initial reaction of this is entertainment. Like I know that I am consciously suspending my beliefs, and taking this information in as fantasy.
Well, when AI rather, was it last year that AI really came on top?
Well, it was publicly available. ChatGPT became most publicly available in September of 2022.
Okay, so anyhow, it was probably
that first year it took a good year before video became something that was getting close to indistinguishable.
So it could be a year ago, at least a year ago already, that I began in my own mind saying, okay, I now have to disbelieve everything I see before I believe it. Because of AI generated the visuals, and now it's even worse. A friend of
Yep.
mine who's deep into tech sent me a thing that I can make my own facial features. He did one with himself sitting on a horse,
Mm.
and it looked like him, but I could tell at the same time. I could tell it was AI generated.
Right. Yeah.
AI just cannot precisely and exactly copy what's real and natural
Yeah.
yet.
Well, and yet, but if you want to know, if you want to see the leading edge of that, you subscribe to Unreal on YouTube, the Unreal Engine. It is a graphics engine that is now being it's basically, well, it is AI generated live. So the the premise is that now AI will generate the environment of your video game's character live on your console, meaning that you don't have to have programmers program the environment, which is the largest cost in creating video games, is creating the environment for the characters that are being played.
Well,
And so all of that now is being leveraged by the computer that's going to be in your living room. It will do the context generation for your avatar, which, by the way, will likely be customizable to your own preference. Because for me, when I'm playing video games, like you can ask Audrey Lynn, they're pixelated. They're not high definition graphics, and that's because I resonate with that retro feel of video games. And so someone who's playing a Call of Duty, super entertaining and lifelike, and the graphics are getting incredible. Again, largely due to Unreal Engine. It's incredible what they are generating now, lifelike environments. But if I don't like that style of game, I can still go play with those people who do. Why? Because the machine that I have is going to create a holodeck experience personal to me. So I can go ahead and play Modern Warfare 8 or whatever it is now. I don't even know. Or Battlefield 7 or whatever is the latest. I don't even know. But I can play it in the style of one of my favorite games growing up, which Contraband wasn't allowed to play this, but it was called Heretic. And it was kind of like Doom. But you played the role, yes, you played the role of a heretic and you went around casting spells and taking demons out of the sky. Like it was a good game. And the graphics were so archaic and boring, but they at the same time, they were unique. And the Unreal Engine was built off of those first 3D models for first person shooters. And if I wanted to go and play along with people who are in the hyper real metaverse that they like, I can go ahead and play with them because I'm in a universe that I like, one that's all pixelated. And,
yep.
you know, I like the demon horns too. Like, those are always cute. How they do that with pixels is just so cool. Life is a video game, and I'm always looking for ways to create these analogies so that we can look at life more like a video game. So that Audrey Lynn, the principle that you're talking about, ignoring what you're seeing, and Ian, what you're saying, always be skeptical of what you're seeing. Never assume that it's accurate
Yep.
or assume that it's the truth, because this is the fifth gen book burning,
Hmm.
right? Nobody's reading books anymore. How many people actually have a proper library, right? Well, of course, look at the one in the background. Ian's got it.
Yeah.
Like
Yep, I
this.
do.
But how many people do we come across that have that?
Sweet
Very,
little.
very few.
Yeah.
It's because this is now the library. Look, Wikipedia. I can just look it up on Wikipedia. I don't need an encyclopedia. I got Wikipedia. Duh. But that is the fifth generation book burning. Just make it where the physical book is no longer important.
And then that way also the digital book is so much easier to update.
Oh, I have music that I have purchased that I don't have the CDs anymore, but I purchased those CDs, burnt them myself onto MP3 discs, put them on little thumb drives throughout the years. I've got one down in here. This one here has 128 gigabytes of music on it. Like I got some incredible music that I bought
Yeah.
when I synced up my music library with Apple in 2016. All of those files that were on that device, the device that connected to Apple, the files were replaced by the ones on Apple's servers.
Hmm.
I paid for these files
Hmm.
and Apple changed
Stole
them,
them.
and they were actual, like I had this was when I was really obsessed by recording equipment. I was recording my grandfather's LPs onto CDs so
Oh,
that I could burn them onto file like drives.
yeah.
That's how I practiced databasing. Just I was databasing all my entire music library, right? When those files got switched, they were different takes, they were different recordings, they were not the original LP recordings. Some of those LP recordings were original sessions.
Mm.
Like Valdi, when they've just got two microphones hanging from the ceiling and they bring all their instruments in and they're just live jamming and recording it in one take. Those are gone now unless you've got your own private data.
Mhm.
Once you connect to their system, they will change history to keep you in it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've experienced that with books, like ebooks that I purchased, and then go back to reading them again and realize, oh, something's not quite right about this.
That's why I like that.
Yes,
Physical books.
likewise.
Yep.
Likewise. If they want to break into my house and change a paragraph in an obscure book somewhere along the line, that's going to be a big deal. But it's so much easier in this digital realm to do
Yeah.
that with just a few keystrokes.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Cool. See, I just love market analysis. We get right into it, eh?
Everything.
Everything. Audrey, I see you still connected. How you doing? I know it's tough for her. Like 11 o'clock is when her shift ends, and then the next one comes on, and sometimes they're having to overlap and coordinate, and makes sense.
What shift at what?
Oh, she's a caretaker for an elderly man in his last years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he, wants to stay at home and
Sure.
yeah. Oh, and she's back again. Hello? Okay.
Well,
Anything else?
let me see if I
Hey, do
made
you
it.
want to see a meme coin that's like in an insane chart pattern right now?
Say that again.
This is a meme coin that is in a pattern that is, again, very, very encouraging. If you wanted to, put your pinky finger in a pencil sharpener and take a risk with me.
We'll start with your pinky finger.
Okay, all right, sounds good. This
Let's
is
go.
This is SPX 6900. I've talked about it in brief in the past, but this meme is. So let's just address meme coins for a second. I think Bitcoin is a meme coin. Why do I think that? Well, because the electrical grid is a fraud. We don't need to burn energy to have energy. Tesla showed us that. So therefore, given that Bitcoin, over 40% of its current price is made up of the cost of electricity to mine the Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin is more of a meme coin than the US dollar because it's all based off of a fraud, based
So
off energy.
what do you mean by meme then? Like maybe that's the thing is that you need to define memes to see the similarities between the two.
Yes, and yeah, thank you. And that's where I was going.
Okay.
Meme coins are simply tokens on a chain that are associated with an image.
With what?
An image.
Okay.
Or a language with an image. Language pattern with an image. That's a and meme, I think, is the etymology of that is images with words or something like that. So the Bitcoin meme is the big B with the it's a B with the dollar lines down the center, just like the
Right.
dollar sign. That's the meme of Bitcoin because that's the image that's associated with that community. I call meme coins simply community tokens. I mean, that's basically what we're doing with the Flurbo. The Flurbo is a meme coin. The meme is nature's market. We use that word to describe it. We've got a font for the brand for that local market. We've got a market table where vendors can, if they can't make it there, they can drop their stuff off and we'll sell it for them at the table. But we're using a little currency within our little community and we're calling it the Flurbo. And it's actually worth dollars because we're using it in the tokenization of our wares.
So Looney is a meme coin.
Correct. Anything that is a representative token of a community that has a brand of some sort of an experience. So SPX, their community is obsessed, I would say to a higher degree than even Bitcoin obsessors of the past, simply because of the rate at which this community is growing and the amount of people holding this coin with holding more than $1,000 of the coin. So in the statistics, this is the highest ratio of holders with more than $1,000 in their wallet.
Than any other coin.
Any other meme coin.
Well, if Bitcoin is a meme coin,
Yeah, okay. So now we got to get into the definitions again. Thank you, Ian. Thank you. This is good for me. Bitcoin is not it's not listed as a meme coin.
yeah.
Meme coins by definition in the trading community is that it's just the chain. The chain is the value. So there's no it's just just tokens trading like stocks basically, but nobody's in charge of the thing because it's a DAO now, right? The holders bring the governance to the little community, but what they're holding is just a community token. Whereas with Bitcoin, that has a more unilateral purpose to it. It's kind of like the gold of the digital world, simply because it holds its value as long as electricity stays nice and expensive. Can you imagine if everybody wants cheaper electricity bills, but then when they get them, they're going to be pissed off because Bitcoin drops 40%? Anybody think of that one?
Now that's an interesting thing because when you started talking about that last week, the electricity, I began thinking about these combined heat and power units
Yeah.
where you generate your own electricity for your own consumption and sell the excess to the grid. So
Yeah.
you're actually not pulling anything off the grid. You're actually generating your own. Um, that may be a greater thing in the future. I'd like more of an analysis on that. I don't know if that's something you could get into or what, but I think this AI generation, electricity, etc.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
I think that was on that chart from Horizons Canada that I'll have to look at that.
Yeah, there was something about shortages for
Yep.
power.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
brownouts and that.
There was.
Yeah, yeah.
And that also made me think about what you said last week about AI consumption of electricity and these
Mhm.
CHPs. Yep.
Yep. And then that brings up the validity and the need for us to be on that market's edge to get those thermodynamic chips, the probabilistic chips, because they don't have to be cooled nearly with near as much energy
Or water.
or water.
So what's the probability of those chips being accessible?
This is why I think there's going to be a war on chips, and there's going to be trade wars specifically.
Okay.
And China announced that they are taking Thailand now, that they are reintegrating, they call it.
What?
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's where all the chips are made, remember?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, I saw that from just Dario as well. Follow him on X, guys. Yeah,
Follow
with
who?
this stuff. Just Dario is his name.
Oh yeah.
I'll throw his link in the chat.
I think you did last week, but yeah, send it again.
Yeah.
I have to skedaddle.
All right. Yeah, we've got lots to get ready for tomorrow's trip too. So thank you very much. Great market analysis.
See ya.
You
So
bet. Take
this
care.
that yeah, you'll respond to my questions to you in our Telegram chat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me. Which questions?
Just respond to them later.
I think I did. The questions that you had from last week there, I answered them.
No, this morning.
Oh, this morning. Okay, I'll check into it. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
See you all.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.